to me, what you hear from the media? What would you say?
The media usually tells us that we have to be skinny and that we have to have big lips or small noses or certain things about us. The media basically tells us what's beautiful, how thin we should be, how we should look, what we should wear, how much we should show.
They try to tell us, like, you need to lose weight, or you need to gain weight, or you need to paint yourself like this or look like this.
Everyone wants to be perfect, like deep down everyone does, but so they promote that and it's like say, well, if you do this, then you can be perfect. It's just something that everyone wants to achieve.
You look in Hollywood and what's in there, or whatever they're advertising on television, basically it's not really in the eye of the beholder, it's in the eye of the money holder.
Who defines it? I don't know. But it's not us, and it's not the right people. But it's someone making a lot of money.
Yeah, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it is so true that Hollywood sort of paints an extremely unrealistic picture, especially for our youth who look up to the Hollywood celebrities as to what should be normal, and believe me, they are not. They are teaching teens how to navigate the dangerous media. A former model has set out on a mission, and she joins me to bring awareness to the younger generations that there is so much more to life than models and reality TV stars seeing splashed across today's numerous media outlets. Joining me now is Nicole Clark. She's a former model and director of CoverGirl Culture, and John Clark is the director of Wise Guy Workshops. Thank you both for coming on to talk to us. Nicole, let me start with you first, because as you know better than anybody, as a teenager, you started modeling, correct? And so you know very well the pressures of being a teenager and trying to live up to a certain physical appearance, and you were a model, so imagine for all of those who are not models, who don't have the benefits of being as beautiful as models, because you're paid to be, you know, look a certain way. Many kids growing up don't look that way, and they look up to people like you. So tell me about the pressures that these teenagers are facing and how the media is just making it worse.
Yeah, the pressures that girls are facing today are actually more intense than when I was growing up and when I was modeling. Today, there's a pressure to be pretty and skinny, but added to that now is this sexy. You have to be sexy, and so it's compounding. And the girls are getting these messages at younger and younger ages. Girls as young as 6 are worried about their body image. There's clinical depression in girls as young as 5 and 6 now, and so girls are being bombarded on a day-to-day basis with what they should be valued for, and it are things that are not really truly valuable in a human being.
You say that the model industry can be damaging to young girls. How long did you model for, and what was your experience?
I modeled with Elite for about 4 years internationally, and my experience, I saw around me the impact that it was having on girls. I was fortunate in that my parents raised me to be very confident and have self-esteem and self-respect. And I was an athlete, so I didn't have the pressure to be a certain size. But if I were to go back into the modeling industry today, I would be categorized as plus size. And so it's just contorting our ideals of beauty and perceptions of what's healthy. And it's happening more and more to girls at younger and younger ages, like I said earlier. And so my experience then, I can't imagine what it's like for girls that are actually in the modeling industry compared to when I was there.
And I just want to ask you, you know, you and your husband, you're conducting a self-esteem workshop, several of them, some of them aimed at encouraging careers outside of Hollywood. First, let me ask you, John, you know, there's 2 for girls, 2 for boys, 1 for educators and parents, 1 for women, and a new mother-daughter workshop. Where does a father figure fall into all of this? Because it's not just moms who have to deal with teenage girls, and as young as 6 years old, as she's, you know, just pointed out, which is startling to imagine a 6-year-old having to try to live up to some kind of sexy image, which is really disturbing. What are these workshops aimed to do?
Well, I mean, bringing up the father is very important, because the dads are the first source that boys go to for how they learn how to treat women and how they learn how to gain self-value and self-worth for themselves. And and fathers don't necessarily have it because they're so wrapped up in the media message as well. But what we've found is that boys are being targeted almost as strongly as the girls, but they're being hit with a different sort of message. They're being taught that women are sex objects. They're to be objectified, and this is starting at a much younger age than it did, say, when I was a kid.
Right.
And so these messages are harmful. So they're teaching boys that your value, your self-worth is completely based on these things that you acquire. The watch, the shoes, the car, the clothes, the hair, the PlayStation. But also, women are just another one of those acquisitions. The hottest girl, the guy with the hottest girl wins, and this is harmful for our society. It's devastating for people who are trying to find healthy relationships, and it's a message that's being perpetuated all throughout boys' lives, and it's also, and look what it's doing to the girls.
I didn't even think of that. And I've thought of that in the past. Why is it that men tend to objectify women and think of them sort of as sex objects, if you will? And it's so true that it really starts at home. If you see your dad watching television and spotting a sexy model or actress on television and making comments about their physical attributes versus their talent, clearly that's going to be picked up at a very early age. In these workshops...
Yeah, and imagine if...
Go ahead.
Yeah, imagine if he also has a daughter and what she hears from those comments as well. So it goes for both ways from Dad. The dads really need to get on board with this, because they are indicating, both to the girls and to the boys, what it is to grow up to be, sexy and healthy, or vice versa. So we're trying to give them a powerful message, but then we're also doing these workshops for the boys, because we want to arm them with, and girls, we want to arm them with tools so they can see through the media matrix themselves, so they can build real self-esteem. We can give them tools so they can unplug from the peer pressures all around them, even the peer pressure from their own parents.
So your workshops are the Wise Guy workshops. Alongside your workshops, Nicole, you have Seeing Through the Media Matrix. That's grades 9 through 12. And then you have a How to Build Kung Fu Self-Esteem workshop, and that applies to grades 5 through 8. Why don't you tell us about those workshops?
Yes, the workshops evolved because of the success of cover girl culture and the education community saying, please come speak to our girls. So I go into the schools and girls organizations, and I actually help girls decipher and decode the messages that are coming from the media. And it's important because it helps girls develop critical thinking skills. And then I also focus on the sexualization of girls in media and the violence against women and girls in the media, and help girls understand how this is affecting their perceptions of themselves and their worth, and also how boys are being affected by this as well. And then I also focus on body image, because according to the district school boards here in Los Angeles, and even in Canada, and the Canadian Mental Health Board shared with me that the biggest deterrent to girls' success in schools is body image. And so it's a huge focus for me, is to help girls understand the fashion industry and the advertising's ideals of what is beautiful and the body shape they should aspire to, and it's not based on health, and it's not based on beauty. And that really opens girls' eyes, and it actually, they get upset, they get angry, but I also give them tools to take action, and what can they do in their current life today to take action and to create change, because that's our solution for them.
This is why I think there should be uniforms in all schools, both public and private. You can spend a lot less money having to buy designer clothing for your kids, because you know they all want it. They wear the same exact thing every day. It's not sexy looking. I wore them, I hated them, but you know what? If everybody else is wearing the same thing, you're not really looking, because there's really not much to look at, because they are not sexy. I can attest to that.
That's a great point.
I'm telling you.
That's a great point. I actually tell girls.
Uniforms nationwide. Make them mandatory.
Yeah.
It would save a lot of psychological scars.
Indeed. I tell girls in my workshops, it's your deeds, not your duds, that define you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Nicole Clark and John Clark, thank you very much. I just want to throw out the websites there again. It's www.covergirlculture.com and NicoleClark.com. Nicole Clark and John Clark, thank you very much, and good luck to you both, and I think it's a great thing what you're doing there.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having us.
All right, sure thing. We are